Before Michael Jordan attained GOAT status, he was heavily criticized for being a ball hog and seemingly lacking faith in his teammates. Though Mike entertained fans with his high-flying acrobatics and offensive outbursts, the Chicago Bulls failed to snag that elusive Larry O'Brien trophy. As the franchise star, critics inevitably blamed the Black Cat. MJ heard all the harsh criticisms hurled at him. He used them as motivation to become stronger, better, and faster. It was in his mind when the Bulls finally defeated the Detroit Pistons Bad Boys in the 1991 Eastern Conference Finals via a 4-0 sweep. As the Bulls defeated the Magic Johnson and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar-led Los Angeles Lakers, those aspersions continued to power his airness and the Bulls. As such, that first NBA championship in 1991 was their most prized victory. You had all your media naysayers. Scoring champion can't win an NBA title. You're not as good as Magic Johnson, MJ said. Not as good as Larry Bird. You're good but you're not as good as those guys. I had to listen to this every day. That's why our first championship was a little sweeter. Sam Smith, the legendary sports writer who covered Jordan's rise, understood the shooting guard's elation when he won his first chip. It was indelible proof that Mike wasn't just a great individual player, but he could guide teams to the gold. It was tremendous joy, Smith said. That locker room was the most joyous it ever was in any of those championships, by far, because they'd finally achieved a championship. I remember covering the team in the late 80s, where in the newspapers, people were writing columns routinely that Jordan could never win. That you can't win with Jordan. Phil Jackson recalls entering the locker room and finding everyone celebrating and spraying champagne all over the place as if it were a madhouse. Will Perdue, a third-year man out of Vanderbilt, was so happy that he didn't know how to take it all in. When the game ended, I just remember we're jumping up and down, we're running around the floor. You're almost not sure what to do, Perdue said. However, amidst all the chaos, jubilation, confusion, and sighs of relief in the Bulls' locker room, a moment stood out featuring MJ and the Larry O'Brien trophy. It's a singular moment that has stood the test of time, and which many claim one of the greatest heartfelt moments in Jordan's career. The one thing I'll remember is the Bulls dancing off the floor and everybody else just sitting there watching it, Bulls radio play-by-play announcer Jim Durham recalled. And then that scene with Michael crying, with his dad and with his arms around him. Finally, he had won, and he had won doing it his way. For the first time in the eyes of many, even his teammates, the tough, tyrannical North Carolina standout showed emotion. He was also a human with lofty goals and aspirations. Michael Jordan's first NBA championship in 1991 was particularly meaningful because it represented the culmination of years of hard work, personal growth, and overcoming significant challenges. Here's why it was so special. 1. Overcoming the Pistons, Bad Boys. Before 1991, the Chicago Bulls were constantly thwarted by the Detroit Pistons, known for their physical and aggressive defense, often referred to as the Bad Boys. The Pistons had eliminated the Bulls in 3 consecutive playoff series, 1988, 1989, and 1990. Jordan and the Bulls had to grow as a team and find ways to overcome this dominant force in the East. 2. Team development. In 1991, the Bulls had matured. Jordan had developed into a more complete player, learning to trust his teammates more, especially as the team added key players like Scottie Pippen and a seasoned point guard in John Paxson. Under coach Phil Jackson's leadership, the team's offensive system, called the triangle offense, allowed for more fluid ball movement and unselfish play, fostering a greater team dynamic. 3. Jordan's legacy. Before winning the 1991 title, many critics questioned whether Jordan could win championships, given his individual success but lack of postseason success. The victory silenced those doubts, confirming Jordan's ability to lead a team to the ultimate prize. It solidified his legacy as not just a great player, but a champion. 4. The emotional impact. Jordan had worked incredibly hard to reach the pinnacle of the sport. After years of playoff frustration and failure, the win in 1991 was emotional for him. His passion and drive were part of what made the victory so sweet. It was not just about basketball, it was about the satisfaction of finally achieving the ultimate goal after so much adversity. 5. The beginning of a dynasty. The 1991 championship was the first of 6 NBA titles Jordan would win with the Bulls, creating the foundation for their 1990s dynasty. That first title marked the start of a new era for the Bulls and Jordan's career. It was sweeter because it was the first step in what would become one of the most dominant runs in NBA history. In short, the 1991 championship was special because it was the moment when Jordan and the Bulls overcame the toughest challenges, finally proved their worth, and began their historic run of dominance in the NBA. Michael Jordan's statement, "That's why our first championship was a little sweeter," reflects the immense pride and significance of his first NBA title. Winning the 1991 NBA championship with the Chicago Bulls, after years of playoff disappointments, was a culmination of hard work, growth, and overcoming obstacles. For Jordan, this title not only validated his personal excellence but also symbolized the breakthrough of the Bulls as a team. It marked the beginning of an era of dominance, with the Bulls going on to win 6 championships in the 1990s. The first championship holds a special place because it was the start of that legacy, and it came after years of struggle, including repeated playoff failures and the challenge of competing against powerful teams like the Detroit Pistons.